Hello, all my beautiful people. It's your girl, Tina Marie J. I know it's been a long minute since I last put up a video. If you guys do not follow me on social media, make sure you follow me on Instagram and Facebook. My Facebook, you could just type in Tina Marie J. You'll see me pop up. And on Instagram, I'm Tina Marie. You know what? I have to check because I'm always getting confused. Tina Marie underscore J. Sometimes I get it confused and I think it's Tina Marie J underscore. No, Tina Marie underscore J is my Instagram. So make sure you guys follow me. So I have been putting out some little announcements, some little updates here and there. I've been working on my first course. This is called my Dope Soul Master Course. It is an 8-week program where I'm going to be working with around 12 people that I'm going to be doing some group coaching for 8 weeks, along with a workbook that I created, helping you to be able to develop your mindset in a way where it's going to be productive for your mental health so that you can step away from the brainwashing that has been consuming your entire life. So I really want to put this out for the new year. So I'm looking around the end of December, early January is when I'm going to be launching my brand new course. So right now I'm accepting any emails so that I can add you to my email list and continue to send you information. I'm also going to start speaking to some people to see who I can add because I'm looking forward to working with some of you guys. And I am definitely looking for people who are very serious, who really want to change not just the way that they think, but I really am looking for people who are ready and willing and serious to get down into the deepness of the root of the issue of why you haven't been able to heal ever since you've either left a religion or you've left a cult. This can also be for somebody who may just be dealing with leaving religion and kind of going through the whole deconversion process and having a difficult time due to any kind of religious abuse or quote unquote church hurt, which I cannot stand that phrase. So if that may be you, then this course may also be for you as well. All right, this course is my baby. I'm super excited. So I've been really working hard every day at this, guys. All right, so now let's just get into this video. So I actually want to speak about what it's like when you start losing your quote unquote faith. And I'll tell you why I put that in quotations. Or why you start losing what some people call losing their religion. You lose your belief and you find yourself leaving Christianity or whatever religion you're in. A lot of people, not I shouldn't say most, but a lot of people end up leaving and either become atheists or get into spirituality, which is what I did. Not intentional at all. So a little bit about me in case you're new to my channel. So I was a part of a religious cult for 7 years, and I pretty much grew up in religion my entire life. And what made me start this channel was I wanted to find a way to be able to not really help people at the time, but connect with other people who were a part of a religious cult. And then that just turned into me connecting with people who were just a part of religion and had been hurt by religion or hurt by a church that's toxic, because a church doesn't have to be a cult in order to be toxic. It really doesn't. And so then that turned into me helping people as I was going through my own journey of deconversion, leaving not just the church, but I ended up also leaving Christianity. So it's been about 4 years now since I've left Christianity. I do not like labels, but I do consider myself a spiritual person. I believe that we're all here to love and to share an experience and to help others and to grow and to just experience for ourselves. That's what my personal belief in is. With that being said, I also believe that we need to mind our own business and allow other people to go the path that they feel is right for them. So that is not a mindset that I had when I was a part of religion, but it is now. That scared me when I first started realizing that I was losing my religion. And the reason why I say losing my religion instead of losing faith is because when we say we've lost faith, oh, so you've lost faith. You don't have a faith anymore. You have faith. It's just not in the same thing you once had faith in. So I still have faith. I have faith in a lot of things. I actually have faith in more things now than I did when I was a Christian. But the difference is that my faith is not in the same thing anymore. So I don't like to say when you lose your faith. So you won't be hearing me say that. So anyway, back on with what we're speaking about. So basically when I had left religion and I started to feel like I was losing my religion, it was very scary for me because I've never experienced that. I've never experienced not believing in something. Something that I was taught from probably since birth what to believe. I never experienced these different ideas and starting to have curiosity on wanting to learn more about other things. I never experienced that. I've always kind of suppressed any kind of quote unquote negative thoughts that I may have had pertaining to religion or the church, because as I got older, I did start to kind of think differently than how I was raised to think. Because I looked at people in the church very different. I saw some stuff that was real funny to me, and I was like, I don't know, this doesn't make any sense. I don't understand how, people in the church are teaching one thing, but they're doing another. A lot of things just stopped making sense to me. And then I also started to read the Bible a little bit more. I got a little deeper into it. And for the beginning, it was hard for me to really read the Bible again after I had left my cult that I was a part of. It was difficult for me to get into the Bible because I had an experience that it traumatized me for a while in a way where I didn't want to even walk past a church. Like, I did not want to go into one. I didn't want to walk past one. I didn't feel comfortable talking to people who were churchy, people who are Christians, but they also talk about God all the time. I didn't feel comfortable in those type of conversations. I just kind of wanted to be to myself so I could just figure out whatever I needed to figure out. And at the time I didn't know what that was. So if you're right now going through this phase where you're feeling like you are fearful because you're losing your religion, you're starting to lose or maybe you are losing your faith. If you're becoming atheist, you could be losing your faith as well. If you're in that stage, whatever it is, it's understandable that you may be feeling some sort of fear right now just because of the fact that you may have been brought up in this, or maybe this is something you believe so heavily that it never crossed your mind, not even one time, to think that you could ever leave this faith, leave this religion. But when I started reading the Bible and I started really learning things, I was like, oh crap, I never read this. I never knew that this was even in the Bible, because I was always reading what I was told to read. When the church I was in was very controlling. But I learned things. And when you do start reading the Bible, a book like the Bible, when you do start reading it for yourself and you don't have a church to tell you what to read or tell you what to focus on, you are doing it all for yourself. You can't help but to learn things that you probably haven't learned before. And with that comes more questions. And the next thing you know, you're going down a rabbit hole and you are learning all these things and more questions are coming on, because even though you're getting the answers, you're questioning those answers. So now you're like, I gotta learn more. I gotta learn more. I gotta learn more. And so that was what I did. I started watching YouTube videos, listening to people who were atheists, listening to people who were agnostic. At the time, I wasn't really listening to any spirituality videos because I didn't experience spirituality yet at that time. I was kind of in limbo. So the limbo stage is very common to go through. I call it limbo. When you're just in between, it's like you don't fully not like you don't you believe in something, but you don't know what it is. You're just kind of there in the center, waiting around. You kind of feel like you're waiting to find out, as if someone has to come and tell you what you believe in. But the thing is, when you are a part of religion, especially if you're a part of it for such a long time, you are really generally told what you should believe in. You're not ever encouraged to believe what you believe. You're only told that you need to believe in this because this is your savior, and this is Lord Jesus Christ, and this is a person who died on the cross for you, and you have to believe it, because if you don't, then that's costing you your salvation right there. You'll never go into a church and hear the pastor say, well, whatever you believe in, it's okay. It's okay. Whatever you believe in, you're still a Christian. It doesn't matter, as long as you believe in God, that's it. You don't have to believe in Jesus, you're still a Christian. No, you're not going to hear that. There is a certain image, not just an exterior physical image, but there's a certain list of criteria that you have to kind of fall in line with in order to really be considered a Christian. So when you find yourself questioning these things, it's scary, because you're like, hold up, I'm not supposed to be questioning that. And if I do question it, I'm supposed to find an answer that's going to lead me back to be refocused on what I'm supposed to be focusing on, which is getting to heaven, or helping other people come to know God, and building a relationship with Christ, and all of that stuff. But if you are feeling yourself losing that, if you're feeling yourself steering away from that, and you start to notice like you're drifting more towards spirituality. Some of you listening to this video right now may not be drifting towards spirituality, but I do get a lot of people that talk to me on social media and ask me about how it is when you're deconverting from religion and you find yourself heading towards spirituality, how to deal, because it is a scary process to go through. So that is scary just because of the fact that Christianity and spirituality does not go hand in hand. I know that people like to refer to Christianity as spirituality. In a sense, it's a part of spirituality, but it's not the kind of spirituality we're speaking, right? So it is going to be scary for you to kind of make that shift. But and I'm sorry if I'm jumping around, but like I was saying before, it's important that you do research and that you read and you learn things for yourself. If you're in that limbo phase, use that time to do your research and to learn for yourself. That limbo phase can last a couple of months. It could last a year. It could last a couple of years. For me, the limbo stage lasted about, maybe I would say, like 2 years, a good 2 solid years. I did not know what I believed in. I didn't know what to believe in. I was very unsure, probably more than 2 years. I should say it took me about a good straight 3 years for me to know for sure, like, all right, for sure, this is what I do believe, and for sure, this is what I do not believe. That took me a while. You will get there, but it takes patience. That time went very fast for me. And the reason it went so quick for me is because I use that time for myself. I use that time to learn things. I use that time to listen to other people's perspectives. What do other people believe in? Learn about other religions and cultures and how they believe. And I journaled a lot too. I was asking a lot of questions. I didn't know who I was speaking to, but I was just writing down questions and wondering, like, like all these different things. Like, would I be a Christian if I grew up in somewhere in the Middle East? Like, would I be a Christian? No. Like, so then where are all these other people going? And it was just a huge rabbit hole. At times it was very frustrating because I just wanted to know an answer. Like, I knew there were certain things I didn't believe, but there was still too much stuff that I was just like, I don't know what to believe in. So that is something that you're gonna have to go through. That's not something that you can avoid. It's something that I know can be frustrating, but at the same time, it's very necessary. It's very necessary for you to learn yourself and to use that time to learn yourself as you're not in the church. Some people end up going back. Some people go back to church and they go back to Christianity and they feel like, no, this is for me. This is what I want. And then there are others like me who ended up finding a path where I find a lot more peace. And I feel like this path feels right. This path resonates, and this is who I am right now. Now, what I believe is that we all have our own different versions, and we grow into those versions as we get older. We go through different stages. And this isn't anything spiritual. This is literally life. You go through different stages. Who you are at 30 is not who you were at 20. Who you were at 20 is not who you were when you were 18 or 17, you know? So you go through these different stages in your life and you learn through your experiences. And I've had a lot of experiences that taught me a lot of things. And so because of my experiences, I see myself growing into a newer version of myself. My focus and my goal is that I grow into the newer version of myself, but I do it with humility, and I continue to love no matter what. Love and accept, love and accept. I believe wholeheartedly in loving and accepting. And to me, that's the most important thing. So that was one thing that helped me when I did feel myself making a shift, was not putting so much focus on labels. What am I? What am I? Who am I? Am I atheist? Am I agnostic? Am I spiritual? Am I anything? What am I? I didn't do that, because then that is going to only make you feel more stressed out for no reason. That's too much. That's just way too much. Focus on what you have now in the moment. Go by day, and try not to obsess. Also, use this time that you're in limbo, that you're not going to church and that you're unsure. Use this time to do other things. Like, use this time to get more in touch with yourself. You know, if you're a creative person, get in touch with your creative side. If there's something you enjoy doing but you kind of fell off, pick up on it again. You'd be surprised if you knew how many people who were a part of religion or who go to church, that they have certain things that they stop doing just because they now are going to church. And depends on the type of church you go to. If you go to a toxic church, then most likely a lot of things you enjoy doing, you're probably not doing it anymore. Or if you are currently in limbo phase and you feel like, well, no, I mean, the only thing that's changed is how I feel, because now, you know, I'm fearful of hell, and I'm fearful that things aren't going to go my way and that I'm going to be punished by God for leaving. Well, then still use that limbo time to work on yourself. And I know that some people have this thing where they feel like they're being selfish if they use any time for themselves, and that's really because of what you've been taught in the group you were a part of. That's the only reason you think that way. And that's another thing that my course really teaches you, is how to train your mind to think a different way, so that you can undo the thinking patterns that had been created for you when you were a part of your cult or your religion or your toxic group, whatever it was. You want to really pay attention to your thoughts and how you're thinking. And during the time that you're in limbo phase and you're just like, I don't know what to believe in, use that time to focus on yourself, but be very careful with your thoughts, because not just because some people go back to church or go back to Christ, as they call it, doesn't mean that they go back for the right reasons. I've spoken to many people who returned, and after speaking to them for 20 minutes, I could tell right then and there, like, the only reason that this person returned is because of fear of what happens if I stay out, and not knowing how to direct their own life, not knowing how to trust that they can direct their life. And I'm not saying direct your own life like you have all this control and you don't ask for any kind of guidance. I do believe in guidance. Me being a spiritual person, I believe that we do have something, spirit guides, angels, something. I believe in intuition. I believe that's our inner voice telling us. That's why you feel it the strongest, like when the fight or flight kicks in, you know, and you're feeling fearful. That's your intuition. That's your instinct. Something inside is telling you something's not right. I need to get out of the situation. I believe that that's something. I do believe in something. But you really have to be very careful with your thoughts. But anyway, I don't want to keep going on about that. I can go on for days, because that is a very important thing that I need to make videos on, is how are you thinking? Because that makes a difference in how this journey process goes for you. Because let me tell you, the process of transitioning from Christianity or any religion to something else, or just transitioning out of it, period. Whether you transition into something or you just a flat out atheist, it's not an easy process. Some people it doesn't really phase them like that. It doesn't affect them like that. But majority of people, it can take a toll on your psyche, your mental health, and you want to make sure you're careful, especially with these type of days that we're living in right now. So when when I started to realize I was not believing anymore, I it was scary for me because I didn't know what to do about that. I was just like, okay, how do I get back? And it is instinct to want to hurry up and run back. Like, oh, I'm scared. I don't, this is the unknown. I can't, it's too dark. Let me go back and turn back around. I almost thought about doing that. I actually tried to see if I could find ways to make myself believe again and make things somehow that really didn't make sense to me again. Like, a lot of the stories in the Bible never truly made sense to me, but for some reason, I still felt like it had to be true because it was in the Bible. But if I really thought for myself in that moment, I would say, hell no, this is stupid. Of course, this stuff didn't happen. It sounds ridiculous. Like, it's not even possible. I wouldn't believe it. Now I believe that a lot of the stories in the Bible were just meant to help us, meant to inspire us, things like that. But when you're finding yourself kind of losing your belief in this belief system that you've carried on, um it's scary, but you have to be honest with yourself. Do not force yourself to believe something you don't believe in. Do not force yourself to admit to something you don't believe, like to admit Jesus is Jesus is Lord. Okay, tell me Jesus is Lord. Tell me, say it right now. I can't. Why? Because I don't know if I believe that. You have to be honest with yourself and with other people. You have to. And that's really hard. That's not an overnight thing. That's a whole video in itself as well, being honest with yourself and where you stand. But once it took me a while. It took me a while to get there. But once I finally got there, it still was difficult, but it started to get easier and easier to where now I can freely tell anybody except for my mom. That's one step I never made. I don't know if I ever will. But I could easily tell someone like, yeah, I'm not religious. I don't do religion. I don't have to go into detail and tell them why. I don't have to. But I am confident in saying it now. And that's the thing, is once you get to that confidence, when you can admit to yourself something, you'll start to see the pieces slowly start falling together, and all the puzzle pieces are finally coming together, and you start to see like, okay, so this is what I believe, or this is what I don't believe, and it starts to make sense to you, because now you're starting to really see things for what it is. And then with that confidence comes after that, because then you just become so much more confident, and you're like, yeah, that's right, I don't believe in it. And you don't feel like some odd one out. You just feel like, I'm me and I don't believe, and that's it, and you're able to claim it. And the more that you're able to say it out loud, the easier it becomes for you to really admit it out loud, or even admit it to yourself. But the first step is admitting it to yourself, because you cannot admit something to someone and not be able to admit it to yourself first. It's just not possible. So in the limbo phase, while getting to know myself, uh getting back into things that I hadn't done in a while, things that made me happy, things that brought me peace, things that kept my mind off of the emotions I was going through, because I was also having a hard time with my marriage at the same time, because my husband was still a part of Christianity. So I was battling two things at once. It was very difficult. I had depressing moments, but I found ways to get through it. And one of the ways was getting into things I enjoy. YouTube was one of them. So those are just things that make me feel good. So you have to think of the things that make you feel good. Don't just do a bunch of research and obsess, because that'll stress you out. Do things that make you feel good. Then you're going to see that things are going to start to come together, and then you'll start to realize where you really stand when you kind of fall back a little and just allow time to take its course. Because you also have to remember and realize that if you were hurt by religion, not only are you finding yourself transitioning out of it, which is a process in itself to go through, but you're also healing. So you have to work on your healing. And a part of healing is taking time for yourself. So you need to make sure that you're not obsessing so much to the point where you're not putting any time into yourself or any time into whatever your craft is, something interested in and into, or even just spending more time with family. I mean, it's funny, but not going to church on a Sunday, my weekends started to just get so much more longer, not going to church anymore on Sundays. I love being able to wake up on a Sunday and not having to rush somewhere or feel guilty because I didn't attend. I really do. I really do. So, that's more family time right there. You just start to see things really come together. Things start to really come together. As far as having fear of transitioning into spirituality, I would say yes, I can understand how having fear can be a thing for you, because I'm not gonna lie, when I first started to notice myself become interested in spirituality and certain aspects of spirituality, I was pretty fearful too. I was a little bit nervous because I was like, I don't know, this is taboo to the Christian community. And even though I wasn't considering myself a Christian anymore, you still kind of carry the Christian mindset because it's attached to your persona, because you've been carrying it for so long. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a part of your identity still. It's embedded. It takes a while for that to not be embedded anymore. And that took me a while. So even though I didn't feel like a Christian, I still kind of carried the pattern, the mindset patterns of my old Christian self. And so I was afraid of spirituality because I thought that, the most evil, horrible things would happen and everything about it is terrible and evil. But like I said, you research, you learn things. Some things you may feel comfortable with, some things you won't. Don't think that spirituality is like a whole nother religion and now you have to do A, B, C, D, E, F, G because that's what spirituality says you have to do. No, that's not how it works. Literally, whatever feels right for you, that's what you do. That's what it is. And so I started to lean towards spirituality when I started getting into laws of attraction and learning, like, oh, snap, I actually can control things with my own thoughts. Like, if we have a negative thought constantly, we're going to see negative things happen. But it works the same way in positive thoughts. If you put out positive thoughts, you'll receive positivity. And that has nothing to do with spirituality, religion, or anything. That's literally just laws of attraction. So I learned a lot about that. And that literally changed my whole freaking life. I'm not even lying to you. Like, that changed my whole life. And it still continues to change my life. That's something I also do speak about in my course as well. And I'm going to be speaking about more on this channel. But learning all these different things really helps you. It really does. It really helps you. And then it helps put the fear to the side a bit, because then you start to slowly realize, like, there's nothing to really be afraid of. Honestly, the fear that we see, I believe, is fear that we bring to ourselves. Like, I believe that we can be fearful of something, and then because we feared it so much, it ends up happening. And I've seen it. And I just don't carry the fear. I just don't. I'm not saying that bad things only happen when you're afraid of it, but I personally just feel like especially in religion, it's like so common to just think of everything outside of church and the Bible as something to be fearful of. And I lived my life that way, and that suppressed me so much. And ever since I've let that go, I have not felt suppressed at all. Like, I really feel like I can stretch and I can learn and I can grow and I can make mistakes and I can learn from those mistakes and grow from those mistakes. In religion, I felt like I had to be perfect and I had to try my best, and it wasn't something that worked for me. With spirituality, you may be leaning towards it because spirituality is a little more welcoming in a way where it says you're going to learn about yourself, and this is going to rock your freaking world, and you are going to have such a dramatic transition, and you're going to learn some stuff that's going to trip you out and make you think, oh snap, this is crazy, but this makes sense. When you really start to get into that, you learn a lot. You really do. And that helps spirituality, I personally feel, helps a lot with healing from any kind of religious abuse. It helps a lot. It really does, because we all come from something that has hurt us in our past. We all carry some sort of trauma, childhood trauma. And that childhood trauma only continues to collect more trauma as we get older. So if you have been in a cult, or if you have been hurt by religion, then you have more trauma added on now. So spirituality is all about helping you learn how to dig through that and heal and come to one with yourself, and listen and feel what your intuition is saying, what God is saying to you. When it comes to spirituality, there is no Bible. There is no, oh, well, you have to do this because this and that, in hell and heaven. It's no religion. There's no rules. There's no, tradition. Like, this is how we do things. The organized religion set of ways that is not a part of spirituality at all. Spirituality is just, there's a God or a creator or a universe, there's something, whatever, and you believe in this, and you put your thoughts, your positive thoughts, and you have faith in yourself, and you believe in yourself. Religion is opposite. Religion is like, you believe and have faith in this, being, in Jesus, I'll just say, so it's very different in that sense. So it can be very scary, because you may feel like, dag, I can't mess with that side, because that's it. I'm only supposed to be focused on Jesus and God. And I respect it. People don't like to hear me talk about it in this way. The people who don't like to hear it are usually the people who are Christian. But I respect that people don't like it. But at the same time, that doesn't mean that I have to stop believing what I believe just because of this one set of people that believe so deeply. You know what I'm saying? When you're a part of spirituality, you're not out there trying to get people to join you. You're not. You're just here, and you're like, I respect everyone's decisions and choices and what they choose. That's where you stand in spirituality. You're more working on yourself. You're not out here trying to work on everybody else, but you do want to help people. But when you're a part of religion, it's more like you're trying to make people come in to your side. And so that's what I love about spirituality, is that I don't have to feel the pressure of that. I'm literally focused on myself. And if someone is like, oh, you're woo-woo, you're new age, I'm like, okay. I don't use the term new age. I'm not trying to go off topic, but I don't use the term new age. I don't understand, this big thing with new age. I mean, I like what I like, and I feel like I don't have to explain to people why, or explain to people why I should or shouldn't like it. I'm just like, if you don't like it, then simply don't do it. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you don't like alcohol, but that person over there is drinking alcohol, just mind your business. Just don't drink the alcohol. I have a very straightforward set of like how I think, and having this type of mindset, this is just me, but it has helped me to be able to focus more on what my goals are, and not focus on not helping, but pleasing other people. You're stroking other people's egos. And so this is just a confidence that comes with, after you're past the limbo stage, and you are for sure, who you are in this moment, this version of you, who you are right now. Because remember, we have many versions and we grow into them. Not that they're all so dramatically different from each other, but once you get to this stage, it's so much easier for you to just not care what people think of you, because then that throws you off. That really throws you off. You're not here trying to live for other people. That's not what you're doing. So I know that was a whole lot to consume. It was a lot. I had a lot written down. This is something that I should have talked about a long time ago, but I've been getting a lot of questions on social media and in my emails about people who are afraid of finding themselves heading towards spirituality, or afraid of leaving Christianity or religion. Guys, no matter what direction you go, make sure it's a direction you're going in that feels right for you. No one can tell you what feels right. No one. People can tell you, oh, you can't go what you feel. You got to go what the Bible says. But you're going with what you feel by believing that what the Bible says is what you should be going with. So that's a feeling you're going with. You're not just going with the Bible because it says to go with it. You feel like it's correct, so you're going with it. I feel like this is correct, so I'm going with it. So we're going our separate paths, and it's okay to go your path. You're not going to go on the same path as everybody in your family, your friends, people you love, people you grew up with. That's not how it works. You have to embrace your own version of yourself, because this life we have, we don't have time to sit here and worry about labels. We don't have time to sit here and worry about what that person believes in, what that person believes in, and stressing over what we believe in. You have other things that you've come here to do and to enjoy. So what I want to do is be able to help you to get to that place, so you're no longer stressing the things that aren't going to be productive for you. Because think about this, one life, and you're spending this whole life stressing out. It doesn't make sense. Like, none of us should be living this way. You know what I'm saying? So guys, if you enjoyed this video, do give me a thumbs up. I am done. This video is over. Okay, guys, this will not be edited. It's going straight up just like this. So no editing. If you want to join my Beautiful Souls group, please feel free. It's on Facebook. I have the link down below in the description box. And if you want to join my email list, and make sure that you just send me your email address down below in the comment section, or you can send me a DM on Facebook or on Instagram, and I will add you to my email list, so you will get updates, weekly updates on my new course that's coming out. All right, guys, I appreciate you guys all so much. Take care, be safe, and stay positive.